Mabuhay, Kamusta, Smashly family, welcome back, and I mean really welcome back to the only corner of YouTube where a Philippine flag gets draped around our shoulders before the first point is even played, where we scream ourselves hoarse for every single Alexandra Eala winner, and where we have never, not once, apologized for any of it. Now listen to me, put down your phone, pause the other tab, stop doing that thing where you're half watching while scrolling through something else. Because what I'm about to lay out for you is not another tennis score you glance at and forget by dinner. What happened today on that blistering red clay of Madrid, under that Spanish sun that felt personally offended by the concept of shade, this is a moment people are going to talk about for years, decades maybe, because today the tennis world stopped treating Alexandra Eala as a promising prospect and started treating her as a problem. A real, honest-to-goodness keep her out of your draw problem. For generations, Philippine sports fans have carried this specific hunger. You know the one, it's the hunger of always watching the biggest stages from the outside, pressed against the glass like kids at a candy store we couldn't enter. We've cheered for other countries' heroes, we've admired from a distance. We've whispered to ourselves, someday, maybe someday our moment will come. Well, family, stop saying someday. Our moment isn't arriving anymore, our moment is here. It arrived the second a young woman from our islands walked into the Caja Magica in the heart of Madrid, looked across the net at a former Grand Slam finalist and proceeded to take her apart, shot by shot, point by merciless point, like she was dismantling a puzzle she'd already solved before stepping on court. The tennis world loves experience. I mean, they worship it. They hand the narrative to the veteran every single time. So when the draw came out and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova's name appeared opposite Alex's, the international commentators did exactly what they always do. They pulled out the Russian's resume like it was laminated. Powerful baselaner, Roland Garros finalist in 2021, European clay in her blood. They framed it as a learning experience for our girl. A good, tough lesson. They pictured Alex as the student walking into a classroom. Here, what they missed, Alex didn't fly all the way to Madrid to sit in anyone's classroom. She didn't pack her bags for a seminar. She came to teach, and the lesson was brutal. Let me tell you about Pavlyuchenkova because context is everything here. This is not some random tour player. This is a woman who once stood on court Philippe Chatrier in a Grand Slam final with the whole world watching. She understands clay at a level most players never reach. She reads angles like a chess grandmaster. She builds points with surgical patience. And when she wants to, she can blast you off the court with flat, low, heavy ground strokes that sound like gunshots. On paper, this was a nightmare matchup. But here's the 2026 truth. The veteran arrived in Madrid ranked number 116 in the world with a record of 2 wins and 6 losses all season. She had to claw through qualifying just to see the main draw. That doesn't make her a safe favorite, that makes her a wounded animal. A fighter with nothing left to lose, desperate to prove she still belongs. She was looking for someone to sacrifice so she could restart her season. She picked the wrong opponent. Now let's talk about who Alexandra Eala is at this exact moment in time, because if you've been half paying attention, it's time to wake up completely. That slim junior champion who shone at the US Open Juniors and won Roland Garros junior doubles, she's gone. She's been rebuilt from the ground up. The years at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, far from family, far from home, grinding through physical torture and tactical drills that would break most people in a week, those years didn't just train a tennis player, they forged a warrior. Going into this match, Alex was ranked number 44 in the world. Pause and let that sink in, 44th on the entire planet. And her 2026 resume already included a quarterfinal in Dubai and pay attention here, a win over Coco Gauff, the world number 4 on the hard courts of Indian Wells. This is not a prospect anymore, this is a seeded player, a danger, the kind of name no one wants to see in their section of the draw. The only question mark before Madrid was the clay. Everyone knows the shift from hard courts to red dirt is brutal. The movement is different. The rallies stretch into marathons. The bounce messes with your timing for weeks. Could Alex translate her hard court success to the European clay? Today, she answered that question with a performance that left no room for doubt. Now hear what makes the Mutua Madrid Open unique. It's the altitude. Madrid sits high above sea level and that thinner air changes everything. The ball flies faster, it bounces higher. The rhythm of rallies is nothing like Rome or Paris. Historically, this favors power players, people like Pavlyuchenkova, whose flat, heavy ground strokes become even more dangerous when the ball zips through that thin air. So what did Alex do? Did she try to match power with power? No, that's exactly what the Russian wanted. Instead, she brought a scalpel to a gunfight. The centerpiece of her strategy was that left-handed topspin forehand, one of the most underappreciated weapons in women's tennis. She used it to hammer away at Pavlyuchenkova's backhand side, generating topspin that kicked up sharply off the clay and rose to the Russian's shoulder level. Think about that geometrically. When the ball is bouncing near your ear, you cannot generate offense on your backhand. Your body simply won't let you. Alex kept Pavlyuchenkova in a defensive crouch and then slowly, methodically broke her down. Then there was the movement, and the movement was mesmerizing. Pavlyuchenkova's entire game plan is to hug the baseline, dictate rallies, and finish points quickly. She wants pace and she wants conditions on her terms. Alex destroyed that plan. She said, "No, we're not playing quick points today. Today we go long. Today you run. Today you work for every single ball." She slid into corners like she was born on clay. She recovered from impossible positions. She used every lesson absorbed from years of watching Rafa Nadal train on those same Mallorcan courts. And then she forced one more shot, and another, until the veteran's concentration cracked and the unforced errors started raining down like a broken dam. And then the drop shots, the audacity of those drop shots. Every time Pavlyuchenkova drifted back behind the baseline expecting another heavy rally, Alex would hide her swing and just feather the ball over the net. The Russian's legs started to betray her. You could see it in her face. She wasn't just tired. She was being mentally disassembled by someone 10 years younger who was showing more poise, more control, more calm than she could muster. The first set was a battle. The Kaja Magica crowd, who have practically adopted Alex as their own because of her Mallorca connection, was electric. Nerves were there at the start. Pavlyuchenkova came out swinging. Break points appeared. A younger Alex from 2 years ago might have tightened up, might have played safe, might have let the veteran steal the mental edge. Instead, facing break points against a Grand Slam finalist, Alex walked to the line, ripped a wide serve that pulled the Russian off the court, and then hammered a forehand winner straight down the line with the calm, cold certainty of someone who already knew how the story ended. Complete composure. She stared down the pressure and didn't blink. By the second set, the scoreboard was almost beside the point. The real story was in the body language. Pavlyuchenkova was leaning on her racket between points, taking extra time at the towel, gasping, searching for answers that weren't there. Across the net, Alex looked like she just warmed up. Fresh legs, sharp eyes, the kind of endurance that doesn't come from a training camp, it comes from years of sweat and bone-deep Filipino grit. To beat a woman who has stood in a Grand Slam final on this very surface and to leave her with no answers, that's not an upset, that's a statement. That's what happens when technique, fitness, and tactics all fire at the same time. Now let's talk about what this win really means, because the numbers are enormous. Being ranked number 44 was already historic for Philippine tennis, uncharted territory, but winning a main draw match at a WTA 1000 mandatory tournament against an opponent of this caliber, the ranking points here aren't just important, they're life-changing. This isn't a little bump, this is a catapult toward the top 30. Do you understand what top 30 means? It means direct entry into every major tournament on the tour. It means seeding at Grand Slams, at Wimbledon, at the US Open. Seeding means protection. It means not facing a Sabalenka or a Rybakina or a Swiatek in the first week. It opens doors to the second week of the biggest events on earth. It brings prize money that actually changes lives. It moves her entire career to a permanently higher tier. But the real significance of this moment goes beyond rankings and money. It lives in something no computer can measure. Tennis has always had high walls, financial walls, geographic walls, cultural walls. For over 100 years, it's been dominated by Europeans and Americans. That's just the truth. So for a girl from the Philippines to travel through the junior trenches, to leave her family as a teenager to train in Spain, to fight through ITF events, to break onto the WTA tour, and now to stand on one of the biggest stages in the sport and dismantle a former Grand Slam finalist, that's not just an achievement. That's a revolution. Tonight, every kid in Manila, Cebu, Davao, Iloilo, every child who has ever picked up a tennis racket and dreamed now knows something different, not as a vague hope, not as a distant fantasy, but as living, breathing, unshakable proof. I can do this too. They don't have to look across the ocean for a hero anymore. They only have to look at Alexandra Eala. She is rewriting what Asian tennis looks like. When her name echoes through a Madrid stadium, when that blue, red, white, and yellow flag appears on international broadcasts, that's Puso. That's Lakas NG Lube. That's every Filipino who ever dared to dream something too big, too brave, too beautiful, all of it poured into one remarkable young woman. The giant has fallen, the world has been warned. But Madrid isn't over. That was only the first round. And with the wave of confidence and momentum Alex is riding right now, there is no player in this draw she cannot face and beat. The key going forward is recovery. Clay tennis is a war of attrition, and keeping those legs fresh is everything. She needs to keep her first serve percentage high because on this surface a weak second serve is a dinner bell, and I want to see more of that backhand down the line. Today it was a secret weapon. Every time she got pushed into the ad corner, she ripped it flat and fearless, and the Russian had no answer. If she keeps using that shot at the right moments, she's going to cause major problems deep into this tournament. And let's dream for a second. Roland Garros is coming. The French Open, the biggest clay event in the world. If Alex is playing this smart, this physically commanding on Madrid's fast, high-altitude clay, just imagine what she'll do on the slower, heavier dirt of Paris. There, she'll have even more time to set up that devastating forehand and track down every ball like it owes her money. The women's draw now has a new clay force to respect, and she competes under the flag of the Pearl of the Orient Seas. To every Filipino watching right now, whether you're back home or scattered across this beautiful global diaspora, stop for a moment, feel this, remember it. These are the golden years. We're not watching the beginning of a story anymore. We're watching the rise of a legend live with every swing of Alexandra Eala's racket. And to the tennis world that always looked away, that kept underestimating her, that always handed the narrative to someone else, welcome to the show. You're going to be seeing that Philippine flag on the final weekends of Masters tournaments and Grand Slams for the next 10 years. Get comfortable. Now, Tennis Mode family, I need your energy in the comments. What was your single favorite moment from this performance? Did you believe she would dominate a Grand Slam finalist this way? How far does she go in Madrid? Share your predictions, your thoughts, your pride. Let this comment section become a celebration. I read every single one. If this breakdown got your blood pumping and your chest full of pride, hit that like button right now. It's the best way to bring Alex's story to tennis fans around the world who still don't know her name. They need to know it. Help make that happen. If you're new here and you love tennis, subscribe right now and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss what comes next. This is Tennis Mode. Until next time, swing hard, dream bigger, and always believe in our champion. Maraming salamat, mabuhayang Pilipinas. See you on the next one.